Hello pattern lovers, you're welcome and welcome back. It's yet another exciting tutorial, and in today's video we'll be drafting this very gorgeous and very stylish sleeveless jacket with some beautiful details. First we can see the camp collar, and then the front part of the jacket is asymmetrical, meaning that what we have on the left hand side of the jacket is different from what we have on the right hand side of the jacket. Then let's talk about the stylishly exaggerated hip. So if you're interested in learning how to go about the pattern drafting of this jacket for a good fit, then kindly watch this video to the end and let's get straight to it. Starting with the front jacket pattern, I already have a starting point line which will serve as the shoulder line. Then from that line, I'll be going down to my bust point line, then to my waistline, to my hip line, and then to the jacket length. If you want exactly what you see on the thumbnail, just use your from your waist to your under butt plus extra 2 inches. It will give you exactly that you see on the thumbnail. And once I'm done marking the lines out, I'm going to label them the shoulder line, the bust point line, the waistline, the hip line, and then the jacket length. Now I'm coming to the shoulder line. I'm going to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2. Then I'll be going down to the chest line, which I minus half inch from what I usually use as my chest line because this is sleeveless. Then once I have the shoulder measurement and then the chest line on both sides like this, I'm going to use my ruler to mark it out this way. The next thing I'll be doing now is to get the neckline, and I'll be using 2.5 as the neck width. Then I'll be coming down here to 1.5 for the shoulder slope. I'll start from the shoulder to the neck width this way. Then I'll be coming down to 3.5 as the neck depth, just like this. Then I'm going to use my curve to give it this round neckline shape this way. The next thing I'll be doing is to take the bust measurement divided by 4 plus extra half inch and then extra half inch for ease. Then I'm going to come to the waistline and take the waist measurement divided by 4 plus extra half inch ease, and then I'll connect from the waist measurement to the bust measurement. So there's a waist join in case you want a waist dart. It will help with that if you don't want your dart to get to the down part, but that's not what you are doing. So I'll get the midpoint of this shoulder line, and then once I have it, I will use that as a guide to curve the armhole out just like this. The next thing I will do now is to get the bust span on this bust point line, and once I have it, I'm going to go in 0.75 from that point. Then I'm going to come down here to 2 inches because that's the difference between my front length and then the back length, and slant it to that 0.75 I came in from the bust span. Next, I'm going to get the midpoint of these 2 inches, which is obviously 1 inch. And once I have it, I'm going to go out 1 inch from the side seam line. Do you understand? Then I'm going to use that as a guide just to blend in the dart so that after sewing, you won't have shortage of fabric. I'll be showing you another way to do it while cutting this out. But for now, I'm going to have this like this. Once that is done, I'm going to come to the waistline and mark my bust span. And once I have the bust span, I'm going to measure from the side seam line. That's like from the waist measurement to that bust span. Whatever it is I have, I'll start from that waist measurement and go out to that. I have about 3.5, and I'll just add half inch, making it 4 inches. Then I'll measure the total of what I have now on the waistline, which is almost 11.5. So I'll just make it 11.5 and come to the jacket length and mark the same 11.5 and connect the 2 points in a straight line like this. Once you're done, to confirm that this would cover up your hip line, you're going to take your hip measurement. This is my hip measurement plus the half inch ease we are using, and I still have about 1.5 extra, which will give us that exaggerated hip look that you see on the jacket. And this was when it clicked that I was supposed to have a button allowance on the center front before taking my measurements. My brain was at it again. But yeah, you're supposed to have a button allowance of about half inch or 1 inch, depending on the size of your button. But nothing spoil, we move. So I'm going to keep this aside, then we work on the back pattern and come back to the front pattern. And on this pattern paper, I already have a starting point line, which is serve as the shoulder line. Then I'll be going down to the waist line, and then to the hip line, then to the jacket length, which all of this is just 2 inches shorter than what I used on the front pattern. Remember, I used 2 inches as my bust dart, so this back length now will be 2 inches shorter than what I have as the length on the front pattern. Once I'm done marking it out, I'm going to just use my ruler to mark out the lines this way and label them: shoulder line, waistline, hip line, and then the jacket length. And this right here will be the center back. Now I'm going to start here and come into the shoulder measurement divided by 4, and I will be going down to the chest line, which I said I minus half inch from what I usually use as my chest line. Then I'm going to mark the shoulder measurement again on that point and use my ruler to mark it out this way. The next thing I'll be doing is to come in here to 2.5, which I'm using as the neck width. Then here 1 inch for the shoulder slope. I'll slant the shoulder just like this. Then I'll be coming down here to 1 inch, and that will be the neck depth for the back. Then I'll use my curve to give it another round neckline. Once that is done, I'm going to get the midpoint of this line and have it there. So this right there will be the midpoint, which will serve as a guide to curve the armhole. Then I'm going to come in on the center back on the waistline 0.75 and use my ruler to contour the center back upwards and downwards this way. You can see what I did there, yeah. I'll now start from this new line and take the bust measurement divided by 4 minus half, then plus half inch is. Do you get that? On the front pattern, we added half inch to the to the bust measurement, and then on this back pattern, we are minusing half inch. Then I'll take the waist measurement divided by 4 plus the half inch is, and then measure the same 4 inches I have as an extension on the waistline on the front pattern. So measuring the whole of what I have there, I'm going to mark it on this jacket length, and connecting it, it's now looking slanty. Don't worry, we'll work with that. Now I'll connect the waist measurement to the bust measurement just like this, and that's pretty much about it for the back pattern. It's as simple as ABC. We are now going to cut this out, and right after cutting this out, we will be cutting the front pattern. So you can see that there is no dart on this back pattern. Yeah, that's why you just need to contour the center back so that, yeah, it will follow the shape of your back and you won't have in much fabric folding on your back. Do you understand? So I had to fill up this front, that's like the center front, and I added button allowance of half inch. That's it though. I was supposed to have that on the pattern paper before taking my measurement, but since I forgot, I had to just add it now. And then this is another way you can fill up this side seam. You close your bust dart this way, then you place your straight ruler and connect from the bust measurement to the waist measurement. But that's exactly what I have here, so there's no point doing that. Once you're done, notch on your dart legs so that it's easy for you to pick the dart and sew. And then again, go ahead and measure the length of the dart from the side seam to where the dart stops so that you know exactly where you'll be sewing to. Now you're going to be joining the front and back like you see me do it here. I'm using this water glue because that's what I have. You can use your masking tape or your cello tape. Just hold them together, like join them together without you taking out anything or adding anything to what you already have on the pattern. Do you understand? So doing it this way means that I'm not taking out anything since I'm using a glue. And once you're done sewing, like once you join the side seam and get to the waist this way and arrange it properly, it's going to give you exactly what you see on the thumbnail, and it will give you that exaggerated hip that you see on the thumbnail. So you're going to use this now to cut out on your fabric just one piece, just the one that will be sitting on one side of your body, and this one is going to be sitting on the left hand side of your body on the front part. Just make sure that the front pattern, after cutting it out, that the fabric is going to sit on your left hand side of the body and it's going to be the right side of your fabric. I don't know if you understand, but yeah, you're cutting one piece with this pattern now, and then we are going to use the same pattern to create the other side of the body. That's like the right side of the pattern. Okay, so I had to indicate the button allowance. Then the next thing I'll do now is to go ahead and measure around the neckline. Just measure it all the way to the center front without the button allowance. And then once that is done, I'm going to transfer what I measured on the front neckline. Yeah, transfer it like this and measure the back neckline. And after measuring, I had about 7.75. You know, this is just one side of your pattern, meaning that the other side is going to be about 15 and a half in total. And you'll be needing to get the midpoint of this 7.75 because you will need that in the next step. Like that's like why cutting the collar out. So to cut the collar, I'm going to fold this paper like this. Okay, you can do this in a single fold or you just do it this way. It's still the same. Then I'm going to mark that same 7.75. Once I have it, I'll mark it like this. And then I'm going to just mark a straight line here to make this part straight so that our measurement will also be equal and uniform. And this is the 7.75. Now I'm going to get the midpoint of this 7.75 this way and mark it. And once I have that, I'm going to come up here to half inch. And then I'm going to place my ruler like this and blend it to the midpoint of this line just like this. Now I'm going to start from this line. Now I'll be coming up here 3.5 as the height of the collar. Then I'll come to this end here and come up 2.5. So we have 3.5 on the other end and 2.5 on this end. Then I'll extend this line to meet that 2.5 and then connect the two measurements this way. So this is how you're going to look after you're done, and you're going to cut this out because yeah, that's it for the collar. So this is where you'll be fixing on around your neckline, yeah. And this is how you're going to be after you're done. So let's say after you're done with your jacket and you folded this part like you should, and then you fix your collar. Just fix where I said you should fix around the neckline, yeah. Once you're done, it's going to look like this. It's just going to lay like this around the neckline part or the chest area, which is exactly what you see on the thumbnail. Do you understand that? And I already talked about how you're going to cut this out. Just use this pattern as you see it here to cut out on your fabric, just a single piece. You're making sure that this one you're cutting will be sitting on the left hand side of your body, on the front part. So we are going to use this one now to create another one for the other side of the body. And you're going to measure what you have around here. That's like the midpoint of the shoulder line all the way to the center front, excluding the button allowance. Once you have it, you're now going to cut that same value on another paper, just straight. You can decide to cut exactly what you measured, or you minus 1 inch or 2 inches from what you measured on your pattern. Do you understand that? Now I'm going to just join this. I will be using my water glue to join it. And after joining it and folding the paper again, is going to look like this, and you see the direction is going on your body. So if you feel like it's too much, you go ahead and take out about 1 inch or 2 inches from what you have there on the paper. But yeah, this is just like the concept of how to go about it. Then coming to this down part, if you want it uniform, just go ahead and mark it out like this and you cut it out. But if you want it exactly as you see it on the thumbnail, you're not going to just take it straight like this, make it the same length with your jacket, and after cutting it out and folding it back, you see that it's giving you exactly what you have on the thumbnail. And so you're going to be using this pattern to cut out on your fabric, just another single piece that you'll be making sure that it will sit on the right hand side of your body. And this thing is going to be tacked just around there, just around the under bust and on the top part, around the armhole part. Just look at the picture and know where to tag this. But yeah, that's pretty much about it for this particular pattern. We already talked about how you're going to cut this out, and I already mentioned that there's a waist seam. There is a joining on the waistline which would help with the waist dart, in case you don't want your dart to get to the down part. But if you want your dart to get to the down part, there is no point having that waist seam, because you can just have your dart like that without you having a waist seam. So yeah, you go ahead and transfer all of this to your fabric, add the necessary allowance, and happy sewing. And with that, I'll be seeing you on my next one. Bye bye.